Okay, folks, we're now working on getting the early stages of the writing done. And you probably saw, if you went down, you went to the classical Greek tragedy. I mean, that's where everybody's hanging out. Um, you probably saw me post these things: classical Greek tragedy, essay, early draft, and then the middle draft. What the heck is that? So now's the time to start working on writing the essay. At this point, it's very important. You should already have read Antigone, had your postings for the first two scenes, the second two scenes, third and fourth, and then the fifth one. And you should have taken some time to look over what other people have written and go, man, okay, now I get the play and I could write some funky stuff about this. So you should have gotten done with the early reading stages, or with all the reading stages, and have a good handle on the play. Once you have that, you can start writing. Now, what I'm going to do is go through those early stages right now, go through this PDF right now. And what I've got to give you, the main thing, if I can really impress one thing upon you, is that you should handle one thing at a time. Don't try to go ahead. Don't try to get other things done before you get the early stages done. It's very important with the writing process that you follow stage by stage. Every task is pretty easy and pretty manageable, and you might get a little impatient and want to run ahead, and that's where the problems start. So work with me on this and do one thing at a time. Don't try to run ahead yet. As you develop as a writer, and some of you probably are a little more developed than other writers, that's been my experience, and that's great. So all I would say is just slow down with this, and once you make sure you know how to follow through the stages, then you can start running ahead. But understand, if you go through and you're patient, and remember what I said before, be patient with yourself as you go through this, you can get this down. It's now time to start the writing of the essay and get going on that part of this class. And I want to give you kind of a heads up at this point. You should have already gone through, number one, made darn sure you finished the entire play of Antigone. That should be done. You should be happy with it. You're all done. You're ready to write about it. You got a bunch of ideas. You looked over what other people wrote. You're ready to go. You're chomping at the bit with that. If you don't have the reading completed, just go ahead and pause the video, stop it, shut your computer down, finish the play, okay? And you also should have made sure you finish the discussions. Now, a little heads up on the discussions. I realize if a number of you are getting messages saying that, hey, you've got a missing assignment. Don't worry about that. I did a minor boo-boo. Apparently I connected the discussions in the gradebook and wasn't supposed to auto. So my mistake. I will be entering everybody's grades by hand, so don't worry about that. Okay, so if you got a note or got a message from Canvas that you've got a missing assignment and you finished it, I'm going to catch it. Again, this is my first time using Canvas, so I'm going to make some boo-boos too. So, so don't worry about that. I'll be going through all the discussions, make sure you've got them all done, and I'll be entering the grades one by one. Okay, so that's coming up, so don't worry about that. But make sure at this point, you have the play completed, you've read it all, you've looked over you've written your discussions, you've identified your metaphors, you've gone through what other people have written, and you've got a good handle on what's going on with Antigone, what all the problems are, and basically you know how to identify, break down, and analyze metaphors. Okay, that's a major skill. That's the number one skill I want you to have down from this unit. That's the rhetorical skills, to be able to identify, break down, and analyze metaphors. And that's where the metaphor machine comes in, okay? For breaking things down. I'll go through that some more too as we write this first essay. Now what I want to do is start you on writing the first essay. Okay, let me get rid of myself here. Bingo. And we're going to go to the cool place, which is classical Greek tragedy. And many of you have already seen, and you were wondering about, what the heck are these things? I didn't see those. You put them in there and we weren't looking. Yeah. Those are the early draft stages. You should have watched the video on the draft process. What these do, they're PDFs that walk you through the draft stages, one stage at a time. Okay, so that's what they do. So let me come back in here, okay? So what I'm going to do is start on the early draft stage today. Now I want to emphasize something. I don't know what I'm doing at all. That it shouldn't be too much of a surprise to you, but at this point with writing this essay, and I did just start it, I'm going to go ahead and write an essay right in front of you. I won't finish it in this video. It'll take a little bit longer. But I'm going to finish it. But at this stage, I need to be really clear. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm perfectly okay with that. Okay? I feel kind of stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. And that's great. And I want you to be okay with that. Because in the early draft stages, we're not going to worry about the thesis statement and things like that. You're not an expert yet. You're going to make yourself an expert through writing the essay. So what you want to do is first get this PDF loaded onto your computer. Now, I just downloaded it into my browser, and I don't want to do it this way. I want to warn you. I want to warn everybody, do not do it in your browser. Okie doke, don't do it in your browser. That's what this is right now, because you're going to lose it once you close your browser. It's all gone. Poof. Instead, take that PDF, and notice I just picked it up, and I threw it on top of my desktop, okay? Now, I did that earlier in the day, and I started an essay earlier today. So that's what I want you to do, okay? So get rid of this extra tab. Go ahead and download it onto your computer. And let me get rid of all this stuff. And you can see I've got it. And let me get rid of that, get this out of the way. I've got the assignment sheet right here, and it's on this is my desktop with the bird, yep. And I've got a PDF of the play right there. You got that from, and I've got the Antigone early draft PDF. That's what I've started writing already, okay? So I've got them on my desktop. So I really want to emphasize, get that PDF onto your desktop, and then open it, and then write into it, okay? One of the consistent problems I have are people opening it up in their browser, and everything gets lost when they close their browser because they ain't gonna save it, okay? All right, so don't do that. Now let me get rid of myself again. Ouch, that actually hurts more than you think. But let's go over here. Okay, here's the assignment sheet. We're gonna walk through this, and again, big heads up. This is going to be kind of tedious, but if you go through it, one step at a time, it all works out. So again, be patient and be tedious. Oops, I got the wrong PDF here. I need the Antigone essay. There it is. So the Antigone essay assignment here, ancient Greek drama, there we go. And write a 6-paragraph essay on Sophocles' Antigone, isolate specific points in the play that use metaphors to give insight into the natures of loyalty and justice. Now, I gotta tell you, any metaphor you were picking is gonna be dealing with loyalty and justice. You can't avoid it. It's on every single page, okay? So don't worry too much about that, but understand that's gonna be a theme throughout. Show how the words and phrases of the characters used give us an idea of how they view their situation in their world. That's what we're gonna be doing. That's what we're going towards. Focus on one or two characters and examine their perspective or relationship in detail. That's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to get to all this format stuff. Again, remember what I told you with the writing process. All the formatting stuff is going to be middle and later draft stage stuff, okay? So I'm not going to worry about it right now. All that MLA stuff, I know a lot of you guys are going to read this over very carefully. This is what you've got to do. We're going to get there, okay? I'll come back to that. What I want you to do is get that one PDF open of the early draft stage. Again, download it onto your computer. Download it onto your computer and then open it as a PDF file. It makes life a lot easier. And here it is. This is the early draft stage. Find 4 quotations from throughout Antigone. The quotations should include metaphors and demonstrate an important element of loyalty or justice. Each quotation should be 3 to 6 lines. And that's kind of what I was telling you. And I'll come back in. This is what I always call my little rule of thumb. 3 to 6 lines. That's enough to work with. And I really want to emphasize, if you get these early draft stages done properly, the later draft stages fall into place. They really do. Life gets easier as you go through this, and you're going to be amazed if you take care of the early draft stages properly. The later draft stages will go much easier, and you won't fall into a number of traps. Okay, so early on, make sure you've finished the reading, you've gotten the discussion done. If you haven't, stop the video, get the play done, get the discussions done, okay? And then come back, get this opened, and then we're going to go through and do this. And then we're going to find our quotations, 3 to 6 lines. Let's do, that's 16. Let's do 6 in ASL. And 6 lines that should work for you, that you think are really cool quotation, are really cool metaphors. Describe the words and phrases used by the speaker, what is literally being described or discussed, what type of words are being used. Okay, that's the metaphor machine as I'm walking you through that. And then finally, analyze the words and phrases. Why are these words important? That's what we're going to be doing. That's the metaphor machine. That's the process of critical thinking. That's what it is. You're first going to get your evidence. You're going to describe it, break it down for your audience. Let the audience see the evidence from your eyes. That's what the description does. And then you're going to analyze why it's important. Okay, let me get rid of myself again. Ouch. Okay. Now this is what I did. Before I started the video, I went and found some quotations. And what I'm going to do is I decided to write on Choragus. That's what I decided. Now I decided that because most students don't want to write on Choragus because he's kind of weird and boring. And who wants to write about boring people? That's boring. So that's what I did. And so all I've got right now at this moment are 3 quotations that center around Choragus that I think are cool. 7 captains at 7 gates yielded their clanging arms to the god that blends the battle lines. That bends the battle lines and breaks it. These 2 only, brothers in blood, face to face in matchless rage, mirroring each other's death, clashing in long combat. I thought that was cool. That's the only reason I picked it. I thought it was cool. Okay, don't judge. Lines, and I wrote down the line numbers. Lines 116 to 122. A little bit of advice: do that. That's one of the few things that is kind of a later draft stage issue. Take care of it early on because you don't want to go back trying to find where you got that quotation from. What I have not done yet, I haven't described it. I haven't analyzed it. I'm going to do that. I found another quotation. This one, I'm kind of breaking the rules a little bit because I have a Choragus quotation, but one of the problems is most of his quotations in the middle of the play are too short. And I thought this one said a lot about Choragus in his relationship to Creon. This was when the fight was breaking out with Haman. You will do well to listen to him, king, if what he says is sensible, and you, Haman, must listen to your father. Both speak well. You considered it right for a man of my years and experience to go to school to a boy? And I thought that was a great quotation because it said so much about Choragus and what he does and about how Creon responds to him. Okay? So, and again, I haven't done the description, I haven't done the analysis. I'm going to do that. I don't know where this is going to go. And then I kind of busted out a little bit. I was looking for other Choragus things, and I decided, you know, Choragus is an old guy, and this is a quotation from Teresa. That's who this is, because he falls into the same category as Choragus. And so I've kind of stretched it a little bit to go to Teresa, because I thought Teresa overlaps with Choragus a good deal. They're both old and wise, and yeah, they're kind of Yoda-like. The time is not far off when you shall pay back corpse for corpse, flesh of your own flesh. You have thrust this the child of this world into the living night. You have kept from the gods below the child that is theirs. The one on the grave before her death, the other dead, denied the grave. Oh, I just lied. I just thought that was cool. That's the only reason why I'm picking these, because I think they're cool. And my thumb likes them. They're 3 to 6 lines. Okay, let me come back in here. Okay, what I'm going to do, now what I want you to do at this point is stop the video and find 4 quotations. I'm only going to use 3 because I'm the teacher and I can do that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to get 3. Quite honestly, it's because I don't like getting a lot of quotations and taking other people were going to write about it. And I picked a topic that I didn't think other people were going to write on, and I tried to pick quotations that may have flown under the radar. So I just got 3. So I'm going to just do these 3, and I'm going to write a 5-paragraph essay with 3 body paragraphs. You're going to have a 4th one. Now, a little heads up. The 4th one I goofed up. I've got the get a quotation, describe the words, and I didn't put a box in for analyzing it. Just forgive me. I did a boo-boo. For now, get your quotations, and then we're going to describe them. So get that first. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to describe and analyze them, and then I'm going to come back and show you what I got. Okay? Okay, guys, I'm back. I did a little bit of writing and got it moved in the right direction. I want to show you what happens when you do this. Now, you've got to remember when you're working on this, you're not trying to get things perfect. You're just trying to move through some of the early draft stages. And that means there's going to be a lot of rough writing, and that's what I've got here. And I need to be really clear about it. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with it yet. Let me shrink it up a little bit so it fits in the screen. Here it is. And what I did was I finished kind of 2 of the body paragraphs. Now, it's always important to keep in mind that this is the start of the body paragraphs, and it's not going to have an introduction, thesis, or anything like that. Okay? Let me show you what I got here. So this was my first quotation, and I'm kind of happy about what I got. But we'll see how it goes. I don't know yet how it's going to fit together, but I found some kind of neat things. The first quotation was from Quotations. 7 captains at 7 gates yielded their clanging arms to the god. And that's something I picked up on. That's kind of weird. That bends the battle lines and breaks it. Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. These 2 only, brothers in blood, face to face in matchless rage, mirroring each other's death, clashed in long combat. Now again, I got the 3 to 6 lines. That's the rule of thumb. That works better than anything else. Just start from the evidence. And I didn't know what I was going to say with this, and that's fine. This is what I did first. I first described what was going on. Let me see if I can make this viewable. Quotations describes the battle that took place between the 2 brothers and their armies. The attacking forces of Polynices are described as yielding to the god who breaks battle lines, which is probably Ares. Now, something I want to point out here, this is not well written. These sentences are rough, but if I tried to write in a nice, clear, graceful manner, the ideas would start to fail. Okay, that's what would happen. So it's perfectly fine to write in a rough manner. That's just, this is what's called a dangling modifier, which is probably Ares is referring to lines, battle lines. That's not right. It's supposed to be referring to God, so that's supposed to be next to that. I'm making all these grammatical kind of stylistic errors. I don't worry about it. I just keep writing. The 2 brothers are left staring at each other in rage after the forces have been dispatched by Ares. So I started to pick up on something, that this god, and I'm pretty dang sure it's Ares, does actually intervene with the forces, with the armies, but he doesn't intervene with the brothers. That's really important. In fact, as I went through the second quotation, it got even more important. So it looks like he's taking side in the armies, but not between the brothers. And Quotations is pretty much calling attention to that. They are left to battle each other, and they do so for a long time, since they are so evenly matched. And I'm going to come back to this mirroring each other's death, clashed in long combat. That's the metaphor. Quotations describes the god of war as deciding to push back the forces of Polynices, but the gods have no say in the battle between the 2 brothers, who are so evenly matched that they are described as mirroring each other in every way. And I've got to come back. This is my analysis. This is what I'm picking up on what's important. The gods back off. In fact, I'm thinking about this right now. They're the ones who retreat from this battle between the brothers. They jump right in with the armies, but not with the brothers. But Quotations is aware, I should just say Quotations. Quotations is aware that the gods do not favor one brother over the other, when the one brother, even when the one brother is committing an act of treason against his own city. Now, that's really important. When things are going wrong, the gods don't intervene. They let, I'm going to say, the gods let fate take its course. That's something I'm coming up with right now. Okay? They intervene when the humans are messing around each other, but the royal families, they step back and say, not my job, okay, beyond my pay level. And then I got to this next one. And again, I want you to be aware that I'm figuring this out as I go through it. I had this second quotation from Karagos, and this is when he's kind of trying to go between Haman and Creon. And I started by describing it. Karagos first tells Creon, and I need these. Boy, these aren't even helping. That his own interests are in listening to his son if he is speaking sensibly. And notice that I'm working with the evidence. If what he says is sensible. He doesn't say, just listen to your son, do as your son says. He says, if he's saying something sensible, then you might want to listen to him. But he emphasizes the importance of Haman needing to listen to Creon, okay? So he doesn't say the exact same thing to both of them, but he kind of doesn't pick a side in the same way that the gods did not pick a side. And I didn't realize this. The gods didn't pick a side between the brothers, and Karagos is not picking a side between Creon and his son. Not picking a side. Karagos, I'm noticing, is kind of reflecting the gods and that they're not willing to step in at certain points. I did not see that when I first picked these quotations. I just thought they were cool. And that's important to start off with. Notice I'm starting to find something with the writing. The writing is uncovering a thesis for me. Something about Karagos aligning himself with the gods by not picking a side within the royal family. That's what he's doing. Again, I didn't know that until about 20 minutes ago. Okay, and this is my analysis. Karagos attempts to make peace between Creon and Haman. Karagos' attempt to make peace failed because Creon's insecurity about his own authority and ability to make decisions. Okay, so it fails. Karagos does not take a side in the dispute and sees the basic equality in both men if they are respectful of each other, which is something Creon cannot accept. Within the royal family, and this is something I realized right before I turned the camera on, neither Karagos nor the gods take sides. Okay, they leave it to fate for it to take place. They take sides, once again, okay, so again, this isn't well written and it's going to need to be refined, but I've got my core ideas down. And I have not written this one yet. Let's do this one right now. This is Tiresias. Oh, forget it. Tiresias makes it clear to Creon that he is committing a crime against the gods and against nature by not sending Polynices to the afterworld with the gods, but also by sending Antigone to her death as a punishment. And now I'm realizing that one of the crimes that Creon's committing is taking a side within the royal family. That's what he's doing. And I'm going to come to that when I get to the analysis. Okay? You have thrust the child of this world into the living night. Okay. That's a metaphor, by the way. The living night is the afterworld. Okay. So he sees it that way as a living world, but one covered in darkness. It's a living night. You have kept from the gods below the child that is theirs, and the one on a grave before her death. The other dead denied the grave. So I've kind of described it. Family members being unjust and offensive to the gods. Now, that's just describing it. Why is it important? I'll have to come back to that, because Tiresias isn't, I'm realizing, he's not like Choragos. He's in Creon's face. And what he's pushing on Creon is that he's taken sides within his family, and that's put him at odds with the gods. So I'm going to go into that. So I'm going to hold my essay off right here, hold the video off right here, and I'm going to finish this up. And in the next video that I'm going to post, probably on Monday, what I'm going to do is take these 3 body paragraphs and start putting them together as an essay. But what I think you can see is I've found some neat things about taking sides within the royal family. Choragos has avoided doing that. In a lot of ways, he's stayed consistent with the gods by not taking a side within the royal family. And in a lot of ways, even though Creon is within the royal family, he's putting himself at odds with the gods by not listening to the others within the royal family. Okay, so the gods leave the royal family alone, and they want the royal family respected, even by members within the royal family. And again, I am just figuring this out right now, and you can see I've kind of got an idea what I'm going to do, and I'm ready for the next level. Okay, so I'm going to hold it there. So what you want to do, you make sure, if you finish this video right now, what you want to do is make sure in the early draft stages, number 1, you finish the reading before you even start. Number 2, you get good quotations, okay? Get 4 quotations that are about 3 to 6 lines, rule of thumb, okay? 3 to 6 lines, get those quotations and get them in to this draft. Make sure you've actually saved the PDF on your computer and then open it on your computer. It makes life easier. If you try to do it in your browser, it's gonna make a mess. Don't do that. Download it onto your computer and then open it. And then you're in a PDF and put your quotations in there. Okay, I would urge you to type them out, but you can cut them and paste them from the PDF into the other. You can do that. But walk through and describe it and allow the ideas to start to come to you while you're working through the quotations. Don't worry if it doesn't come to you at first. It's gonna. That's okay. Stupid's fine. Be patient with yourself while you're working through this. And then get these body paragraphs just started. You're working on the evidence, the description, and starting the analysis. That's what we're doing. We're slicing up this pumpkin and getting ready to put it in the puree machine, okay? So get that much done. Expect more on Monday, and we'll keep going at this, guys, okay? One thing at a time, and be patient with yourself. Take care.